Welcome back, Silver Bull subscribers. Welcome back to Silver Bull channel. Interesting times in the metals markets. We've seen the price of gold take a dive down from 1640 to 1560. Some real pressure there to drop it down. Seeing some strength in the US dollar. The Aussie dollar's dropped below parity with the US, which is painful for us who want to buy bullion in Australia, because it means, obviously, even though the spot price is going down, it still costs money. In the silver market, silver's followed gold. It's gone from 31 down to 28.50. It's had a bounce back from that, but it's broken that key psychological $30 an ounce barrier. As I've said in my videos before, I believe long-term silver is a great investment. For me personally, that's my personal belief. In long-term, it's a resource that's running out, and it's certainly something that's a hedge against inflation, and it's something that I want to keep stacking, basically, as my own sort of retirement fund over and above other financial things. So I see drops as a buying opportunity. It doesn't worry me that the silver I've got sitting aside, which isn't a lot, it's got a kilo bar and a few more ounces than that. It doesn't worry me that intrinsic value at the moment is dropping down, because I don't plan to sell that at the moment. That's just my stack, and I want to get my stack even bigger. So I'm happy to see the price drop down. I'd be surprised if it dropped below $25 an ounce before the end of the year, but it depends. We all know about the market manipulation and stuff like that, so if someone is really trying to manipulate the market down, there's a bit of a theory going around at the moment that JP Morgan, which has been a beneficiary of CME's collapse, EMF Global's collapse, has acquired the metals, the gold and silver. It's basically stolen them from people like Gerald Salenti and other investors of his caliber, who were trying to build up their gold and silver holdings and taking physical delivery. They couldn't actually physically deliver that, so instead they've stolen it. That's the conspiracy theory, anyhow. And because they now have this metal safely hidden away in their vaults, they can manipulate these markets with some confidence. So they're going to drive the prices down. By driving down the prices of gold and silver, they make the US dollar look stronger, also put some confidence into the euro, and they can kick the can down the road for a few more months. The truth is, everyone knows at the moment these currencies are doomed at the way they are, unless some major changes take place. In Europe, the only answers they seem to have for the main changes is get rid of democratic institutions and put in technocrats. That's just straight out fascism, communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it. It's a form of dictatorship. It's not what the citizens want, and no wonder there's protests over there. These people are illegitimate rulers. They're illegally in power, and as such, they're the ones committing treason. Power in Britain comes from the will of the people. That was proven in the Civil War, when they had, in the 1600s, I believe, they chopped the head off Charles I to let him know that they didn't believe in the divine right of kings, that kings were divinely appointed by God to rule, but no, kings were allowed to rule by the will of their people, and if they were bad kings, then they could be got rid of. Since then, the royalty in Britain has been a constitutional monarchy, which means, yes, they are the king or queen of Britain and the empire, or the Commonwealth as it's called today, but there was some restraint by the government. and they very seldom exercise their power. That's not to say the Queen Elizabeth doesn't have the power to sack a government. She certainly does, um, but she is resident to use that power. Because if a king or queen is seen to be acting as a dictator, there's always the possibility of the people rising up again and saying off with their heads. Certainly that happened in France, and that's why now France is a republic. I think personally, Cameron, it was good to see him rule, not to become part of Europe. Personally, because I don't like this European jet dream that they have. I believe it's a push to a dictatorship. Um, it's Vatican inspired. You just have to look at some of the pictures. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. If you want to look at it more, just research more on the net. But that's not to say I'm against every Roman Catholic Christian out there or anything like that, but certainly I'm against the Vatican and the machinations it has. There's many different organisations, though, out there that are doing various activities to push their own agendas, but the whole agenda seems to be towards a one world government, and I'm definitely against that. And I think the vast majority of citizens in the world are. They don't want to lose their sovereignty, their identity. They're proud of who they are. They don't want to say, "Oh, I'm no longer an Australian, or I'm no longer a US citizen, or I'm no longer a British person," or you know, people are born with a sense of wanting sovereignty, wanting citizenship, wanting. They want to be proud of their own family, basically. And there's nothing wrong with that. People try to paint it as racism or something like that, and I think that's wrong. It's not about someone's colour of the skin. It's about their identity, their culture, what they stand for. You know, valuing hard work, things of that line. As for silver, I'm hoping it'll drop further, and I'm hoping it'll stay down for a bit. I'm not in a position to benefit from that at the moment, as you know, for those of you who've been kind enough to comment about my tumour and that. The medication didn't work, so I'm going to have surgery now, and that'll be happening sometime in the new year. I hope that all goes well. That's going to cost a bit of money, and hopefully it's a good investment, and I'll be back on my feet and ready to go back to work and get to 2012, fully fit and with the many decades before me, one would hope. But on the other hand, I realise there's things happening in the world at this time that are very dangerous. This push for a one world government is stronger than ever. The most dangerous people aren't those who come at you pointing the gun straight away and want to do that. It's those who try to be cunningly be your friend, smile while they assassinate you, you know. The thief who smiles while he's robbing you from behind your back is probably more dangerous than the thug on the street. You can sort of spot them coming and you can take evasive action or do something. It's the silent assassins, you know, for example, the Emmett Globals in this world who come and rip you off. The white collar criminals are perhaps far more dangerous than your run of the mill crim who you can normally spot coming a mile away. That's just my view on the matter. I still think silver is a good thing as a hedge against inflation. I've said in other videos where I also believe silver is good in a time of emergency is something to barter with if the currencies do collapse, and we'll see what's happening. We'll keep our eyes out. China is the key at the moment. I don't think it's the US that's the key. I think it's China's the key, and what's happening there. A lot of their growth is artificial, and if that all comes tumbling down, the world economy could come to a grinding halt very quickly indeed. And then what's happening in Europe won't even matter because it'll just implode everything else. It's still teetering on the brink. It's someone on a balancing line, as it were. So that's my thoughts. The new YouTube layout, no, I don't like it. I don't know anyone who does. I've tried to do a playlist with all the bullion videos, so if you just want to have a look at a bit of silver porn, I've got a playlist of 13 videos there of silver porn. I'd love to get some more coins and stuff. I was planning to get some for Christmas, but now that I know I have to have this surgery, that takes priority. So sorry about that, my friends. I will try and get you some silver porn as soon as I can. I'm expecting some money from AdSense soon, so hopefully maybe I can apply that to silver. That was my aim. I'm monetized on YouTube now. It's not huge money. I haven't got a huge number of views, so most videos I get from as low as 10 to sometimes I break 100. I'm just one of the very small, quiet voices in the corner. For those of you who do listen to me, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming to my channel. If you do like my videos, like them up. That always helps. I think it's important. I listen to a lot of other channels out there. I try to support other YouTube people. And it's good to see everyone exercising their freedom of speech, and I think YouTube should be concentrating more on that, ensuring that everyone gets to exercise their freedom of speech rather than fiddling around with a layout that doesn't really improve it in any way, shape or form. Be interesting. Iran's still ticking. Be interesting to see what happens there. Fukushima's a really worry. I did a video recently about the seafood, how and I did some more research into it, and everything I said in that video, yeah, it's right on the button. The professors do say that radiation and radioactive isotopes definitely go up in the food chain and get concentrated as you go up, so that's a very bad thing and a thing you've got to look out for. Humans are at the top of the food chain, so me personally, I'm just not going to eat seafood. The half-life of cesium-137 is 30 years, and half-life doesn't mean it's no longer dangerous. It just means there's half of it has turned into a non-radioactive isotope. Sometimes it turns into a different radioactive isotope, but in the case of 137, its half-life is 30 years, and it turns into, I think it was borium or something like that, which isn't radioactive. But, you're looking to get half again, and half again to get down to a decent level. You're looking to 100, 200 years from now, and then, you'll be getting back down to reasonable levels. It's interesting to note how they date things. They date things nowadays. They can date it anything in an enclosed vessel, like an old bottle of wine. They can guarantee it's an old bottle of wine if it's got no cesium-137 in, because cesium-137 has only really come since the nuclear age. It's a byproduct of a fission and through uranium and things like that. So it's a modern invention, basically, cesium-137. It hasn't been in the Earth for billions of years, if you believe that time scale, or if you believe the time scale of 10,000 years, it hasn't been in that recorded history either. That's Silver Bull channel out. I'll stop there. I'm trying not to say or things like that, because I've listened to some of my videos and I say that far too much. Trying to speak a little bit more coherently here, but occasionally the tumour makes me skip things. Hopefully after the operation I won't have that problem, and I'll be able to speak as fluently as I once did, and be able to carry a conversation that is engaging. Silver Bull channel out. Keep stacking.